joining the Flipflopi Foundation here at Dunga Beach, trying to flag off this expedition, the Lake Victoria expedition, with a dough that they made out of flip-flops.
Flipflopi is an official partner of the UNEP-driven Clean Seas campaign, an initiative that works with governments, businesses and citizens toward the goal of eliminating the use of disposable plastics and to protect our oceans and rivers.
Flipflopi is the world's first recycled plastic sailing dhow, built in Kenya over 4 years ago in Lamu. Did her first expedition from Lamu to Zanzibar. Was a tremendous success in terms of creating awareness about the fact that single use does not make sense. If you can build a boat that's seaworthy and sail it across the oceans out of essentially old toothbrushes and jerry cans, it just shows you how valuable a resource this is.
And this is about informing people, this is about educating people, and this is about influencing policy. So this is about not one-use, single-use plastics. This is about taking those plastics and renewing them. It's away from the take, make, dispose model, and it's about recycling. It's about the circular economy.
So as a sustainable inclusive business, what we aim to do is to increase the adoption of sustainable inclusive business, and we want the private sector to join in leading the elimination of problematic waste, which is single-use plastic. And bringing together the East African region and partners makes it very important in terms of influencing policy change. And of course, lastly, increasing awareness to the general public so that we're able to eliminate disposal of wastes, and also looking at separation of waste at source.
The Flipflopi herself is what's been described as a full systems approach. You're dealing with innovation, we're dealing with influencing legislation, and we're dealing with creating awareness. Without doing things holistically, we're never going to get anywhere.
How we do things matter. It might be minute, but how we do things matter. So for me, I realized that as a household, from the household level, how you separate your waste and make sure that that waste I end up for landfill matter. How a company that you make sure that your product after you do mefanya production, you end up a consumer, and eventually of course you go back to where it should go, to the hands of recyclers or repurposing or whatever, that matters, you know. So that's Kwangu realized that it's important for all of us to know that every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. So if tenda mema, utapata mema. Tenda mabaya, itakukujia. So, and this is not a threat.
The private sector has a big role to play, and it can play the role through 3 different ways. One, through sustainable business practices. So for example, eliminate the use of single plastics within their businesses. They can use glass bottles rather than plastic bottles, as an example. Secondly, they can champion through their corporate social responsibility programs, donations, and providing thought leadership in areas such as the Flipflopi project and other worthy causes that have the same objective.
Like the rest of Kenya, Kisumu has adopted stringent plastic bag bans. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to know that the goal of the Flipflopi project is also to create events to ensure local culture and people are driven to observe conservation and the defense of our environment.